Hello and welcome all our viewers. I'm Elsie, your host for SwanCast, our bi-weekly series where we dive deep into the topics of decentralized computing and the innovative products that we're making here at Swan Network. And today we're kicking off with our very first episode, and we're very excited to have Charles here, our CEO, to talk about more about Swan Network and everything you need to know about Swan Network and the products. So say hi to everyone, Charles.
Yeah, hello. Happy to talk about what I'm doing and what is Swan Network. Yeah, I'm Charles, the founder of the project. I was an engineer, like most of people who started in the blockchain world, spent about 10 years in the domain and get the domain now.
Perfect. And before we jump into the full topic, I want to introduce a segment of the SwanCast episodes, which is Swan Highlight. So for each episode, we're going to go through a highlight of what we have been doing for the past couple of weeks and what we have achieved on the product and community side. So right now, as many of you probably know, the Swan Testnet just launched as a Optimism super chain. So this is one of our biggest initiatives for this week, for this month. And Swan Jupiter incentivized testnet is currently live. So if you are a CP and if you have idle computing power, this is opportunity for you to join us. And we are currently at 150K prize pool. And a little sneak peek is that we might have more rewards coming in later in the later stage of this testnet. And there will be more airdrop opportunities for testnet participants. So you will be an early adopter of Swan Chain testnet. We also hosted a couple of community engagement events like Swan Quiz Thursdays, Pac-Man challenges, and Lagrange Spooky Week challenge for the Halloween. So if you're interested in using our Lagrange platform and joining our Discord, please stay tuned on Twitter for more engagement like this. And we usually send out OG rewards or even token rewards for these engagement activities. We also just recently launched the Comfy UI space and Music Gen space for the AI enthusiast out there. If you go to Lagrange right now, you can use Comfy UI and Music Gen free of charge and using the vast GPU power that Swan Network provide to all of our users. And recently, starting from November 15th, all of the users who use multi-chain storage require 0.01 ETH or 10 Matic to log in. So this is our newest change. If you haven't had that balance, you may notice that you can't log in anymore. So this is one of the important changes that we've made on November 15th. Make sure that you change your wallet balance before you go to use the product again. And that's it for this time's Swan Spotlight. And we are jumping into the episode. Charles, so can you tell to people who are new to Swan and who just recently found out about us, what is Swan Network and how did it start to become what it is today?
Yeah, to be short, Swan Network is a layer 2 decentralized cloud computing networks. So the goal of Swan Network is to building a decentralized computing sharing networks. So vendors from different geolocations worldwide might be able to provide computing power to the user globally. So there was a lot of things you needed to support from the payment, from the infra, from network bandwidth, etc.
And how do you come up with the idea initially? And why do you want to build the Swan Network for people? What are the benefits that people can get from Swan Network?
Yeah, initially, like we growing from space, we see like there's a large demand increasing in the Web3 and also in Web2 world. Like you can see from the reporting, reported, you will see like that the demand of the computing was doubled every few years. Recently, like with the AI is blooming, there's more demand AI computing. So currently, like there was only two solutions. You either buy your own computer or you're using cloud solution like AWS, Google, right? So people don't really have much choices. So the idea comes to us like how about we using the redundant or the existing power who has been purchased but not used yet, and we can share it, right? So it's not like a spot power which AWS has. It's still owned by us. It's like I have or you have, like we have servers in data centers, and we want to share to others. So that is the initial idea about how to use those rich resource which is staying idle. Yeah.
And would this, for end users, would it be cheaper and would it be more accessible compared to AWS and Google Cloud?
There's like a lot different people have different concerns or different purpose of using the power, right? Some people is really like cost sensitive, right? So for the people who is cost sensitive, since you are using the idle power, computing power which is in idle states, like usually the vendor like willing to provide in the cheaper price and than the AWS market price, right? Usually it can be up to 90% off. We can see that in some case. But as other people, it's not just about cheap. They are aiming at more geolocation diversity, and they don't want to be centrally controlled by one company. Like like when you're doing computing, you always come with the data, right? So which means that you need to offer the data. If you need to offer the data to the cloud computing company, which means that your data is owned by AWS or Google, right? Then one day, if they don't want you to access your data or they don't want to offer you computing, and your entire infra is built on top of them, you're pretty much like in the trouble of business, like, right? So those are some people really want some diversity of the computing power supply. They are considered solutions. Yeah. So and also regulations, right? Some places, for example, if you're using Google Cloud, you cannot go using in China, right? And some regions AWS can use in Russia. So those different considerations make the decentralized computing has their unique advantages in some specific areas.
And can you explain more about why a specific computing provider would like to join Swan Network to become part of the network? What's the benefit for them?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. So first of all, there's not many decentralized computing market existing in the network, right? So which means that if you want, for example, I have 10 GPU power like A100, which is really demanding nowadays. But if I want to offer people, I don't know who is the client, right? One traditional way is like you're making calls, doing SEOs or something, and put the sales order. Then you need to contact with them, and you set up the communication channel. Then you provide engineers, and there's a trust problem. So another way is like say, okay, AWS, everyone trusts. Can I join AWS or can I join Google? And the short answer is no. Why? Because they have so many compliance, they have so many standards like regulations, ISOs, blah blah, everything. Makes things become super complicated. You don't want complicated stuff, right? And actually, even you fail their compliance, maybe they still don't want it. It's just like, no, we don't want you, right? So how to build a computing market? Everybody can join easily and don't have so many troubles and don't really need to spend the effort on the marketing or other things related, become challenging, right? So if we can decrease the cost of the communication and the trust, which is exactly the advantage of the blockchain, we can fit the needs, building a bridge between the demand and the provider. Then it will work, right? So this is how we're building and matching the demanding and the needs, right?
Now, would you say this is why it is important to have decentralization in Web3 computing? Is there anything else you would like to add to this point?
Yeah, so for me, like this is the primary reason we're building it based on Web3, not Web2, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that was like payment and trust, right? How to easily to onboarding, geolocation diversity, etc. So those are the major attributes people were considering.
Right. And what has Swan Network done so far to solve those issues to meet the demand for users and the computing providers?
Yes. So there's a lot of things that need to be done, right? First, you need to have software support, which means that you need to have the payment system enable people to settlement their sales, right? You can either using, some people prefer the traditional way, like a PayPal or something like credit card payment. But when you come to different countries, especially for people who don't really have a bank account or they don't have those international payment channel, it doesn't work. So we're building the payment gateway. We enable people to be able to pay with stablecoin, which is equivalent to US dollar. On the other side, you need to build in the contracts, right? The smart contracts, which can be, you need both parties sign a contract in seconds, right? And the contract has enough information, vendor and the user together. So those information need to be on chain, and the transaction, refund, claim, everything should be online and transparent enough because people who don't know each other, transparency is very important. So you need smart contract about the computing, and you need a marketplace. So people should have choice from different vendors. It should be easy to join. So you need to have a marketplace doing the matching, which we call the auction engine. You are actually bidding for the jobs, and you vendor, you're offering your services. Another part is important is the data, right? When you're doing the computing, it's always about where the data is stored, right? So data solutions like IPFS, Filecoin archive, your important data, geolocation distribution. So this is another service that we provide as a primary. The computing actually is the last phase because you cannot do the computing if you don't have those precondition met. Doesn't mean anything. So the computing is how to virtualization those resources, put it on the resource pool so people can make choices. That's the last part. It requires you to create a engine, make sure you have enough security and something like fraud detections, etc. So all those are the work we have been done on the Swan part. And this is software side. On the hardware side, there's different standard of servers, right? Networks, those measurements. You need to talk to the vendors, which is quite a diversity in different regions. We have been contacted about over 100 providers. Currently, like 22 of them has been joining our network from 17 cities. In the last testnet, which happened 3 months ago. Now we are expecting more providers will join in the upcoming months.
Yeah. Perfect. And can you show us around the current product? What do you think people should start exploring the most and what they should expect next?
Yeah, so on the product side, we're building a rich DApps for people to use. So the platform to have those apps for people to try experimental like LaunchDAO. So LaunchDAO.org is the place you can find. Basically, like it provides some functions, feelings more like a Hugging Face. So everybody knows that Hugging Face is something like for AI communities sharing their work and in early stage, now to become pretty good for the communication. So we're building something similar for AI computing and Web3 computing users. So you can try different applications like famous Stable Diffusion using decentralized power. You can have some data set stored on the IPFS and the Filecoin, and you can try some game like a mine game or other interesting small games, and you can do some AI analysis, like the typical music generation applications, or some like previously with people scientific researchers using lots of Python, Jupyter Notebook, or something like MATLAB libraries, etc. We pre-built lots of space for people to try to use, and you can create your own space based on existing. We in the last testnet, we have over 200 spaces created by the community members. So they improve the model, add new features. So we've seen like that's quite encouraging.
So essentially, these spaces or projects on Lagrange is powered by the GPU provided by Swan Network.
Yeah, actually, it's yes, it is like that, but it's more than just a GPU, is there was also lots of CPU intensive calculations or something like RPC node, right? You can even like boost an RPC node from the archive storage on the network.
Perfect. And what do you foresee the Web3 cloud computing in the next 10 years, and what role Swan will perform in this domain?
Yeah, so we can see that because that was a very interesting trend about the cloud and off cloud. So which means that cloud on one side, the cloud computing market is keeping increasing, but on another side, the cloud computing cost is increasing as well. So that the larger companies and more can join the cloud. They think about they like the convenience provided by cloud, but they hate the big cost caused by cloud. How to balance the cost and user experience, right? That become challenging. So some people like say, oh, I have no choice. And I kind of get it both. So what do? We're back to what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We move buy purchase servers and move back to data centers. Now I become off cloud. But then you lost the advantage of the cloud, which is scalability, the disaster recovering, etc. So for us, what I see is that decentralized cloud actually has both the advantage of the low cost and the disaster recovery, redundancy, etc. Actually, it's perform better on the redundancy side than the centralized cloud, which exists nowadays. I would say like if we see like 99.9% of the market of cloud now it is centralized cloud, I would say like in 10 years, maybe 1/3 or even half were taken by decentralized cloud. And somehow it's good that the market is still small at the moment. So Swan were growing up with the market together. So it won't be surprising for me in 10 years we see like this $1 trillion market and Swan become a multi-billion-dollar valuation product and contributing to the world. So the moment surviving, I think I can see like it can be easily achieved if you're growing with the market.
Perfect. And I know that currently we have the Swan testnet going on on Optimism Superchain. Are there any features that you would want to highlight to the community that they should test out, or you think that is innovative for the community?
Yeah, so as a layer 2, working with the OP stack, there's lots of advantage. You can have advantage of the low gas cost, faster transactions, and also other benefits as DApps, easily to migrate from other blockchains, EVA compatible chains. So there are lots of things you can try. As a developer, you can try to migrate some famous projects like Uniswap or SushiSwap from other EVM compatible system, and you can building the brand new system on top of that. Or you can do some computing networks design, for example, deploy new AI models or new space to play with it or try by yourself. And what else you can do is like you can start like talk to people about how to improve it, right? So all those efforts will be appreciated, and I think like lots of people will have fun on top of it.
Perfect. And I think we're getting to the end of the episode. Are there any additional points that you want to mention before we end this episode?
Yeah, I want to say like Swan is still Swan Network is still a project keep on evolving. So there will be more and more new features adding to our system. So if you want to follow up and to keep on tracking, follow our Twitter, follow our Discord, and come to talk to us. And moreover, we are performing lots of grants projects and incentive testnet, etc. So the bounties, everything are coming up. Follow our Twitter, and you can get those updated informations.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you are interested in following up on more series like SwanCast, please follow our YouTube channel and click follow for our social media as well. We have linked everything in the description. You can also check out our website for Swan and Lagrange to test out our platforms. And right now, we still have the campaign going on for Incentivized Testnet. You will still have the opportunity to earn rewards and join the early network adopter. So stay tuned for more updates on that, and you will see all of that on our social media. All right, thank you for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.